Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to use Desmos in order to find our one variable statistics like mean, median, that type of thing. So there's actually a couple of ways that you can do this, and it's your preference. I'll show you both. One way is you can actually go up to the plus sign and you can add a table, and then you could just input your data into this table in the first column, that X1 column. So let's say if I'm just going to input some random numbers here. So let's say these are all of the data values that I have. If I wanted to calculate everything using this table, all I would have to do is type in whatever it is that I'm looking to find. And then, so for instance, like the mean, and then you put a parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis, you have to input the title of that column. So in this case, it's X1. So you literally type in X and the number 1, and it will calculate the mean for you here. You can do the same with median. So median of X1, the middle number there would be 11. And then if you wanted to do mode, if you tried to type in mode, you'll notice that that's not going to work. So just like how your TI-84 won't calculate mode, Desmos also doesn't. There is kind of a way around this though. So just as a heads up, if you wanted to do a dot plot, which I know that you're familiar with from Algebra 1, you could insert a dot plot with that data and hit enter. Now you might not be able to see all of it until you go over here. Do you see this little thing that says zoom fit? If you click that, it will zoom over, and I can see that at 7, there's 3 instances where 7 occurs and 3 where 15 occurs. So this is bimodal. It has 2 modes, one at 7 and one at 15. So that's kind of your way around it, but you can go ahead and find your mode that way as well. Other things that you might need to find, like range. Range is another one that they won't let you type in. So instead, you'd have to figure out what is your maximum of X1, which is 17, and you could subtract your minimum of X1, which was 1, so it would equal 16 there. So if you use the maximum of your list minus the minimum of your list, that would get you the range. Other things like standard deviation and whatnot, we will talk about at another time. So this is the first way. Another way to do the exact same thing is, rather than using a table, you could use a list. And in order to do that, I would call the list D for data, and I would say D equals, and here you have to input brackets rather than parentheses. So if you hit the open bracket on your keyboard, it's going to start it for you. And what you could do here is just list them out separated by a comma. So let's say your data was 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 0, 6, 3. So it tells you after you hit enter that that's an 8-element list. And you can do the same thing that you did before. You can type in mean, but in parentheses, instead of using X1, you would just use D, since that's the data that we're looking at. Or if you wanted the median, you could do the median of that data set. Again, mode is not going to work. You could do a dot plot though, and say do a dot plot with D. And it's going to show you, okay, in this case, you would have a mode at both 2 and 3. So again, you can do all the same stuff. It just depends on, would you rather insert a table or insert a list like this? Again, just make sure you use brackets here. If you put parentheses, it will not work.